All right, everybody, we have MotoStar's video. Let's take a look. All right, so we're going to be going faster than the flow of traffic. We just passed our buddies. So the whole point of this is we're going to be going over the plan method. So let's take a look. I'll talk about that. So there it is, out and about. He tried for an escape route. Didn't work out too well. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look. So we are going pretty fast. So we're going pretty fast here. We're going to be speeding past our buddy. It says 76, no, 220. So I have a nice little cheat sheet right here. And it goes up to, oh, no, on the backside. I have to go to the backside. 220 is 137 miles per hour. I have the Cardo Pack Talk as the magnet holding it up. So if you want to grab a Cardo Pack Talk, it's a Bluetooth system. I love it. I use the Edge. Links in the description for discounts. Same thing with Rockform. Links in the description for discounts. Anything in the description, there's probably a discount for you. But 220 kilometers per hour. Okay. Going pretty fast. Don't you think that might be a factor in this? Okay. So somebody switched over. And when we pass this truck right here with the trailer, we're going to recognize they switched over because there's someone in front of them. They went to pass them. So that is an open lane pattern. We talk about that in the plan method in the Smart Rider Motorcycle Training System. So this is the first book of it. You get multiple books of it. Links in description for that. Free shipping, by the way, for the printed and the one with the cone kit if you're in the United States. But we talk about that. It's an open lane pattern. We talk about that all the time. And so we see this. We're coming up to here. We're going to go ahead and go for an escape route. So the guy went to the left. We think it might be open if we're the rider. And we swerve right. Okay. Trying to find the escape. Didn't really work out too well. We get to this point. We're like, oh, crap. What do we do? This big truck's in the way. We're going to go for a new escape route. That's part of planning our ride. So we located a hazardous situation. And we assessed, hey, there's a relevant threat. We have to navigate this active one because we're going to be traveling way too fast. We're not going to be able to stop in time. All these problems. We're going to collide with this big semi-truck because we're going this fast. We must do a swerve. Now, there's multiple things that we could do instead of swerving to the right. But, you know, he made that choice, right? So he made the choice. Let's see if I can get my pen out right now. So once again, this is part of the live stream, guys. So right here, we swerved here. We swerved right. We could have just tried to lane filter as best we can. I don't recommend it when you're just kind of just cruising. You're on a lane split because we have two big trucks, okay? So he made a good choice to go this way. He just didn't hold on to that line. He just kept swerving right. And that's a big problem when it comes to traveling such a high rate of speed. We swerved hard to the right. It's going to be really hard to swerve left. So the amount of effort you did to swerve right, you're going to have to do the same amount of effort to swerve left to stay in that line. Because if you just keep swerving right, you're turning right. You have to swerve left to go straight. So right here, he needs to apply a lot of pressure to swerve left to stay in this shoulder. So he's now going straight, and now we're off. So if he swerved hard to go left, we could have stayed on the shoulder and then got back into our lane. So a lot of movement. Remember, we're going 130-ish miles an hour. We're traveling super duper fast. We have to make split-second decisions in the moment. And that's the cool thing about adrenaline. It does help out. But we swerved right. We just didn't do the swerve left part. So there's some mistakes here. The biggest mistake, write in the comments if you know what the biggest mistake that this motorcycle rider did. Pretty simple, guys. Going way too fast. So if you don't go this fast, you're not going to have this problem. All right, so we went over the plan method, all the stuff in the description. Let's go and take a look at the rest of the videos here. Ice, rice, so stunting. Oh, nice big loop. So once again, part of the Smart Rider training system, you have the rescue booklet and the rescue card. So if somebody crashes, we remain calm. We remain calm. We ensure our own safety. We stop major bleeds and quickly assess the severity.
Bro, I know.
So he's walking. That's good. Get off the road. That's part of ensuring your own safety. Get out of traffic so you don't get hit by another vehicle. And if we want to get the bikes out because we don't want to get caught by the cops or whatever it is what it is, but you don't want to get hit by another vehicle.
It's fine. It's fine. Lift it up. Lift it up.
So he's putting water on the engine. There's no fire. Or is that a soda? All right, let's go back just real quick. I want to see right here. So that right there is a huge mechanism of injury. Look at the legs, ankles, everything. At this speed, it's the full body. A little bit of fire, but it pretty much put itself out.
Oh my God, no.
That right there, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Okay. Let's just go ahead and go to the next one. Once again, like, what can we learn from this one? Stunting has inherent risks. You're basically trying to, especially a wheelie, you're trying to balance on one wheel. We only have two, so try not to do that. All right, let's jump into this one. A little group ride. We're coming up to a stop sign. Oh, or stoplight, and that's the dude's shoe. I think I saw this on Instagram. That's the dude's shoe. Let's go back just a little bit. Why did this rider not pay attention? So once again, the cardos, you can talk to your buddies and be like, hey, we're coming up to a stoplight. Give some update. If you're in the front, be like the sign. Stoplight, sharp turn. You point it out so people behind you can understand. That's part of locating hazardous situations. And one of the main hazardous situations here is an intersection. So we have stops, pedestrians, left turners, a bunch of different traffic problems when it comes to intersections. So this is where we need to be paying attention. So the rider in the back wasn't paying attention, went for an escape, hit his foot. And I did make a comment on the Instagram, and I asked, like, or I said something about, like, imagine if the shoe did that, what kind of injury would the foot have? And the person said that there's no injuries, which is kind of weird. All right, let's take a look at this one. Oh, stops. Was that an intersection? Why did they slam the brakes? Go ahead and pull off. Very nice. Oh, that's why. That's why. Somebody, dumb truck driver, was trying to pass when there was an intersection. So I tell you guys, when there's an intersection coming up, try not to pass because you don't know if anybody's turning left or whatever. Just wait till after the intersection to pass. This guy did not do that. Didn't secure his load, and that's what happened there. And so the view that we got is we have the person turning left, the guy was passing. Pretty scary. Pretty scary.
That was carrying way too
All right,
much
one hand.
for a speed bump, and the fact that
Residential area. Watch out for anybody pulling out. It's a blind turn. There's a bumper. It literally said bump. We crashed the bike. All right, so why did we do that? I mean, we're coming up through here. We're just chilling. Remember? Not remember, but there's been like a study that says that most car accidents and most whatever, roadway accidents happen within like a mile of the house. And that's typically when you're coming back home. Because you're just like, hey, I made it through all the crazy traffic and everything, and I'm home. Now I can relax. And that's a big problem because that's when you get complacent, when you're just like, oh, I don't have to focus on anything. I can relax. Nothing ever happens in the neighborhood. Things can happen in the neighborhood. Now, if this person lives here, he should have known that there's a speed bump and whatnot. But if you see
so much hard
signage, pay attention to it. But it's hard to pay attention to it when you're not paying attention because you're just like, relaxed. So just, a reminder, you're in the neighborhood, things can still happen.
harder to keep the bike
So there's the speed bump, one hand,
under
it's going to cause that. He's not going to have control over the front end, dump the bike. So as smart riders, this is why we acquire and use personal protective equipment, just in case our seeks and maintains fails. Oh, that's copyrighted music. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. So went a little bit wide. Let's go back. So he's going to go a little bit wide on the turn, maybe going a little too fast for this turn for him. Maybe that bump over the bridge caused the problem. Either way, we're not focused. We're not making the turn. Part of planning a ride, locating hazardous situations, corners, and intersections. Yeah. I recently just had a comment that somebody's like, can you explain the plan method again? I don't know what it means. And he did it like on 3 YouTube videos. He's just being a troll. I keep saying the plan method because it's very important that we understand the plan method because that is the method of thinking when it comes to when you're out riding or driving. So position for safety. Okay, so make sure you have a good line of sight, you have a good space cushion, and you have at least one escape route. Locate hazardous situations. You have corners and intersections where most things happen. There's a few patterns that you can recognize, like an open lane pattern with merging. There's also the side of the vehicle pattern. We talk about that, like I said, in the Smart Rider Motorcycle Training System. You get all the books and digital downloads. Links in the description for that. Assessing relevant threats. You know, all those things I just mentioned, open lane pattern, side of the vehicle, you know, intersections. If there's no one in the intersection, it's like an empty intersection, no nothing, it's not a threat because you're not having to deal with left turners or pedestrians. But if somebody's pulling out in front of you or a pedestrian starts walking, they become an active threat. So we have 3 things that we can do when it comes to an active threat. We can swerve, we can brake, or we can accelerate. So this is a method. The plan method is a method to think. Because we just watch somebody not paying attention. You can have all the skills in the world, but if you're not locating, assessing, or navigating and keep putting yourself in a new position for safety every single time, you're not going to be able to avoid things. So you constantly are trying to put yourself in a new position for safety. It's a rotation of that thinking pattern. So let's take a look. Let's see if the plan method is used in this. Okay. So wheelie. Let's diagnose what really. Oh, did he have a passenger? Oh my gosh! I hope he did not have a passenger. So part of the plan method, right? Navigating active threats. I just mentioned how intersections in that example, if it's empty, it's just nothing. But if there's left turners and pedestrians and they come out in front of you, they become an active threat. That's an external active threat. Also think about it. Are you the active threat to yourself? So if you are the active threat to yourself, how do you navigate yourself back into a position for safety? Tell yourself not to speed. Tell yourself not to do these wheelies. Tell yourself not to speed through an intersection. Tell yourself to have the skill set so you can understand. Tell yourself to swerve. Tell yourself, like, you have to make sure that you're not the problem, because a lot of these riders that we see on these motorcycle crashes and close calls is that they are actually the person putting themselves into the danger. So if you can remove yourself from being a threat to yourself when it comes to riding, your riding experience, you're not going to be on MotoStars. You're not going to be on this channel. Because I know there's a vast majority of you that don't ride like this and you don't have these problems. So think of that. Now, when it comes to practicing wheelies, that you can do whatever you want. So he actually at least picked an area with no traffic. I'll give him that. That's part of the after action review, is trying to figure out what happened. He failed. Wear some gear. Wouldn't have done it with a passenger though. Messed up his audio and everything. It's like white noise. All right, here we go. Coming around the corner, going a little bit too fast. Collided into a car because we went wide. So once again, are we the problem? So we can go back just a tiny bit right here. I want you guys to locate possible threats. That chevron sign indicates it's a sharp left turn. Before entering this corner, it probably had a sign that was like a sharp turn. It says recommended speed. We're not doing that. Now, why would this person want to speed? Maybe trying to keep up with our buddies. So if you're in a group ride and they're going fast through the corners and you can't maintain lines because you're not that skilled, that's perfectly fine. It's a skill that you develop, but don't do it at such a high level and put yourself way past your skill so that you're taking massive risks. Just talk to them on your car and say, I can't keep up. You guys are great. You guys are awesome at this. I'm still learning, whatever it is. And you guys can just, stay together a little bit easier. But we went too wide because when we speed up through a corner, we go wide. So we're going too fast for our skill level. If this guy was going 50 miles per hour in this turn and did this, a lot of you are probably thinking, 50 mile an hour going through this turn, I could do that. It's because your skill is greater than this rider's skill. So we have an issue where this guy can't make it at 50, you might be able to. But he can't make it at 50, you might not make it at 70. So don't do 70 because you're going to look like this. He's doing it at 50. That's just an example. So understand your skill level, mitigate your risks. And it's a Tesla, of course. I wonder if he got that footage from court. How do you do that? Unless it was his buddy. All right, so can't see. Now we can see what's inside here, and that's the problem. So we hit the wall. Same thing going too fast. I want to point out right here. Does it look like there's a turn? This is the view that you typically get. So you can see everything out here, can't see anything in there. So that should let you know, is this a hazardous situation? Is this a relevant threat? Make sure you ask these questions. And if you're like, I don't know, then it's not, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. If it's an I don't know, I'm going to be cautious. So I'm coming up into here. I can't see. What is it? Is it turning? Is it going straight? One thing that you can point out, and you always want to look for little patterns, look at the lights. Look at the lights. See how they turn? So at this point, slow down. It's 100 kilometers an hour, 62 miles an hour. Let's go and slow it down just a little bit until we get in there and our eyes adjust and we can see what's actually happening. And then speed up if we need to. But that's something to look at. Look at the lights, if there is lights. If there's no lights, you're kind of going in blind.
As the rider himself admitted, this could have ended terribly if it wasn't for the proper gear. His knee took a massive impact, but luckily it was well protected.
Perfect. That's part of being a smart rider, acquiring and use personal protective equipment. He's got full gear. All right, let's take a look at this one. Going wide in the corner and dumped it. Yeah. Once again, we talked about it, too fast for their skill level.